Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I am Hillary Ellis, the lead emergency preparedness consultant from Ready or Not. Joining me today is Celeste Knight, our outreach and travel coordinator for the project. This project is part of Northeast Document Conservation Center's Preservation Services. It's supported by California State Library. So the Ready or Not team is located in San Diego County, Sacramento, Merced, and Los Angeles. And our team has past work experience in libraries, archives, museums, and historic societies, as well as archaeology. And my team includes Mario Gallardo, Özgejan Site-Üstün, Victoria Wong, Caroline Weiler, Jason Partita, and myself, who work on the emergency preparedness consultations in California. And we have our outreach and travel coordinator, Celeste Knight. The Ready or Not Cultural Heritage Disaster Preparedness Project is a 3-year initiative from 2022 to 2025. And we have $3.14 million in funding provided by the state of California and administered by the California State Library. Ready or Not provides free on-site assessments for emergency preparedness and recommendations for preparedness planning. This includes archives, libraries, museums, cultural organizations, historic societies, history centers, tribal nations, and other types of cultural heritage. And today we're talking specifically to community archives, and by that we mean organizations that preserve the memory or living history of their communities or represent a community cultural center. So we've already reached several community archives in the first year of the project. So our goal is to improve emergency planning. We want to improve each organization that we visit in terms of emergency planning. We point you toward resources for funding, for facilities improvements or security infrastructure. We encourage organizations to participate in regular annual safety trainings. Our consultants offer a variety of templates and toolkits to help you get started on a written disaster plan. So if you've never started on your disaster plan, we're here to support that. And this photo here is from Turtle Bay Exploration Park, which is in Redding, California. And these guys were in the midst of writing their disaster plan when they had a small water incident. And they said that actually having the site visit with consultant come out to see them helped folks know how to react and how to act like a team. Even though they hadn't completely fleshed out their written disaster plan, they felt like a little bit better coordinated as a team. The second project goal is to provide preservation assistance. So if you're a community archive, our consultants will provide assistance with collection risk assessment and risk mitigation. So we examine what you're doing in terms of storage, access, and care of collections, and offer recommendations for best practices. And if you're like most community archives with limited resources, we can point you toward grants that support collections care. We also try to offer some low or no cost recommendations. So in the assessment report that we provide to you, we try and provide a few ideas for things you could do for free or very little money if you just dedicated some staff or volunteer time to it. And then we try and point you to some bigger picture recommendations that might require writing a grant, and also some grants that you might look for to support that. We want to help you improve preservation conditions for your collection. And Victoria went to the GLBT Historical Society in San Francisco, California, and met with the archivists and collections care folks there. So on the day of the site visit, our emergency preparedness consultant meets with the staff or volunteers. The consultation includes an interview and a discussion with questions about current practices for emergency preparedness. We also ask about past incidents. Things like, how did staff respond if there was a burst pipe? Or how did you handle previous closures during the pandemic? How would you respond if there was wildfire smoke, or if there was earthquake or landslide? And in the second part of the visit, after we answer questions, the group walks through together to look at all the collection storage areas and other areas of the building. So the walkthrough gives us an opportunity to identify and assess risk. We look at the facilities in terms of the building, but also the site or the region and collection storage areas. And then we also look at risk to people, so human safety. And this is at the Trudeau Building Archives in the East Bay Regional Park District. Ready or not consultants try to identify risk for the region or location, taking an all hazards approach. So examples are earthquake fault lines, potential for landslide, previous years where you've had sinkholes or floods. And we also look at man-made disasters like airplane crash or terrorism or civil disturbances. And more and more we're having people note that there's climate change related hazards. So sometimes we're finding that these natural disasters, this is the first year that they've ever experienced a major flood or a landslide or snow in the desert. And so they're not really used to having an avalanche in Palm Springs, for example. During risk assessment, our goal is to identify the threats that are most likely to occur and with the greatest impact to building, collections, and people. So we review your practices of collections risk assessment, if there are any, and this might include integrated pest management, monitoring temperature and relative humidity, checking and controlling light and ultraviolet levels, protecting items in storage from physical damage, and having controlled access or restricted access by researchers at your archives, and also inventory finding aids or cataloging systems that improve intellectual control. And this is at the Freedom Archives, which is located at Berkeley. They preserve the history of activism. So emergency management is a cycle with 4 phases. And if you've experienced a disaster, you may respond, recover, and then take actions to mitigate risk in the future. And then you prepare and train for future disasters. Each organization that has a visit from Ready or Not consultants is provided an emergency preparedness assessment report. So our report describes our consultants' observations about risk assessment and mitigation. And the report observes your emergency preparedness right now, and we provide resources for emergency response. We encourage you to consider a plan for disaster recovery that includes collection salvage priority lists. So what are some of the most important collections or items that you would want to retrieve in case you had to evacuate the building? And so this is one of the templates that we offer. And if you're just getting started with your disaster plan, this is available on our website at nedcc.org/ca-ready. You can download it along with instructions. This plan is for the Pocket Response resource, and it's intended to fold up accordion style and into the size of a credit card that would go in your wallet. And it's a concise emergency resource that can be stored on your device or in your pocket. And it should have immediate emergency contact information and a list of emergency response actions. It's not a full disaster plan, and it doesn't replace all the trainings, drills, and policies that would protect an organization. Side A includes contacts. So you might have institutional contacts, external contacts, and partner organizations. You might also have alternate locations or mutual aid partners. And if you had to move operations offsite, where would you go? Side B includes actions. So this might be a step-by-step instruction for personnel or volunteers. And on this side, you consider how your organization will act in an emergency. You may want to include a list of assets, whether that's computers that hold vital information or physical collections or cultural heritage materials. When printed on a sheet of paper on both sides, this is folded up and it makes itself quite small and portable. And so staff and volunteers are encouraged to review the Pocket Response resource and update it frequently if there are changes to information. And for other folks that already have a Pocket plan, we encourage them to look through the components of a full disaster plan. So a more complete template helps you write your comprehensive disaster plan. And this would include institutional information, services, equipment, supply list. We offer sample disaster supply lists in the appendix of our report that we provide. And we encourage business continuity plans, especially if your community archives serves as a public event space for cultural performances or festivals, or for activities that generate revenue to support your organization. We want people to consider what it would look like if their programming had to pause because they had to be closed. We also encourage museums to have a salvage priority list identified. So what is the most urgent collections material to remove or recover after a disaster? And one aspect of prioritizing collections, especially for small community archives, is that it may cause volunteers or staff to kickstart a collections inventory project or other preservation needs assessment prioritization, or maybe think about which important materials they would want to digitize. So going through that thought process can lead to a lot of other collections care activities. And these folks here in this photo are from Little Manila Rising in Stockton. So who can participate? Well, any organization with cultural materials can participate. We are particularly interested in reaching underserved and underrepresented communities because this is an opportunity to participate in free assessment. So even if you're not a community archive, if you're a historic society or tribal organization or other type of cultural center or a museum or state park, this is available to you as a resource. Ready or Not aims to strengthen cultural collections organizations to better serve socially vulnerable communities during a disaster. So for community archives, this might mean that the organization develops plans that go beyond business continuity, beyond keeping the doors open and the lights on. And perhaps your community organization is part of community resilience in a disaster, serving as an anchor for community to have space to provide supplies or relief or shared meals. So for some folks, they're thinking past the collections and more towards how can we help the folks in our community help each other. So we've met with a lot of small archives and collections who are just getting started with disaster planning, with strategic planning, and of course, preservation care of their collections. And we encourage any organization to reach out or check out the FAQ page. And you can find that here at our project webpage, or you can contact us at caready@nedcc.org. If you want to stay in touch, you can follow the project on LinkedIn and see other site visits that we've completed and places that we visited, and stay up to date by following our hashtag on social media. So if you're interested in scheduling a consultation or finding out more, please come and look at our website and find out how to do that. And I am going to open the chat for questions if anybody has any questions at this point.